Hi there, everyone. Hello, boys and girls. This is Soren, chess coach for Richmond Junior Chess Club. Today, I've got a very special guest. I've got a woman grandmaster that recently had won the silver medal at the European Women Chess Championship 2025 in Greece. So now, without further ado, let's welcome Irina Bulmaga. Hello,
Hello,
Irina.
nice to meet you.
All right, so Irina was very kind. Actually, the original pronunciation is Irina Bulmaga. I know that because me and Irina, we both native speakers of Romanian, but we're going to make a bit of exception today because we want to reach out to as many friends as possible and chess enthusiasts out there. So now I'm just going to focus on a couple of questions. But before that, Irina, I think it's fair to mention that you've got 5 courses on Chessable. I think 2 on the Bogo defense. I think you've got 2 courses on the Berlin defense and 1 course on the Ruy Lopez with G6 as a third move. So, my dear friends, if you want to go check on Chessable, Irina's courses, there is the sweet and short. And if you like it, I think you will appreciate, just buy the whole course. Okay, so let's go now, jumping into the quick questions here. Irina, when did you start playing chess first time? What age was that?
Well, first of all, thank you for the nice presentation. And then I started to play chess at about 5 years old when my grandpa taught me how the pieces moved. I then continued in a more professional way in school in the first grade because we had like compulsory chess lessons in the first 2 grades in the school where I studied.
That's very good to know. Excellent. Now, I wonder maybe the chess should be compulsory again. Well, we'll see about that. Anyway, I think it's optional now, also in East Europe, in Romania, and I think in UK for the time being, because I'm a chess coach here. I think it definitely is an option alternative for children, specifically after school. They could study that. Irina, is it a practical advice you would give to young players, young students that would like to play a better chess, as per like a method in terms of doing so many puzzles, studying so many hours? How would you recommend a method?
I think the most important is the time you invest in the thing. So we have a lot of available materials and also coaches these days. But most important, except all of that, is I think to find the love to study alone, and that is something which I think is the most important. And of course, there are many things one could study. There are things which we like more or less, like perhaps tactics we enjoy a bit more than end games a bit less. Theory, some players love it, some not. But for younger players, I think most important is to try to improve the quality of play rather than study a lot of theory.
Okay. Very good piece of advice there. And I'm pretty much it can be tailored, but definitely the love for the game comes first, and they really need to love it. And we can build on that. Irina, you yourself, how do you cope with those situations when you're, let's say, you're having a tilt or you've just lost the game in which you have a winning position? You had the winning position, then you blunder, oh no, and then you lost the game. How do you recover from such a loss or a tilt, say?
Well, it is indeed a very difficult moment to
Yeah,
overcome.
I'd imagine, yeah.
I had it even now in the Europeans in the third round when I had multiple chances to win. Even in the end, it was a completely winning endgame, and it was an elementary one. But for some reason, I hurried. I was a bit superficial, and the game ended with a draw. And it was really very tough to come back from it, but it helped to go for a walk and a nice dinner with a friend and to discuss things over. So it basically, well, I can't say that I slept very well that night, but it was better than it would be without my friend.
Yeah, I'd imagine having the friends and the closed ones' presence and encouragement, it does matter. So individual resilience is also important, right? In competitive chess, you need to be able to come back, right? You
Yeah, I think it's sort of the story of my life because, I had some Europeans where I started with 0 out of 2 against much lower rated players, and then in the end I managed to still score 8 out of 11. So
wow.
I think
Yeah.
this motivates me. Like it, in some way, it takes the pressure off, so you no longer have very high expectation of yourself, and maybe it allows you to play more freely.
Good, good stuff. So resilience, we're gonna keep this in mind, my dear friends. Advice here from woman grandmaster, and I am Irina Bulmaga. Also, another quick question for you, Irina, if I may. Do you think that chess would have some other positive effects outside of the school, like life-making decisions? Does that influence in some degree the individuals in other areas of their life?
Yes, I think definitely it has a big influence. And like you said, there are a lot of things which are obvious in school, but outside in life, I would say that first of all, it makes you look at everything in a more critical way. So basically, like in chess, you never assume that you are right. You always doubt it and try to calculate a bit ahead to find different candidate moves and to choose out of them. And another thing, I would say, it's the fair play, because this is what chess teaches us, and I believe in life it is also an important quality to develop. And yeah, there are actually a lot of things. Probably that's what's on the top of my mind.
That's very good. I think that's very cool what you're saying and very useful. And I think our students definitely will appreciate that. Do you ever dream to becoming, let's say, world chess champion or women world chess champion? Do you have this kind of, do you harbor this dream? I would assume.
Okay, I'm quite
I mean,
realistic,
I don't know.
so I
Is
know
that a bad question?
I know I would never be an overall world champion, but women's world champion. I mean, if I wouldn't have this little hope in the back of my heart and the back of
Yep.
my head, I would probably not play chess. So yeah,
Yep.
I know it's very hard to attain it, but I still have hopes.
Of course we do. I mean, come on, you're an international master, you're a woman grandmaster, and you are at a peak now. You're strong. And by the way, may I share with you, Irina, a small excerpt, just a small diagram, and see if you can recall where that moment is coming from. So just bear with me a second because I prepared something, and I want to share this one with you and our friends a portion of the screen here because I've got just bear with me a second, this position. Now, if you could recall, because the reason I've chosen this one is because it's from a strong game that you played against a super grandmaster, if we say that, right?
Yes, it is. I recall it perfectly. It is from my game against ex-world champion Veselin Topalov.
Yes, that's the thing. So this is a critical moment in the game arena. And now Veselin Topalov, the Super Grandmaster we all respect and admire, played the blunder. The blunder that is knight take on c4. And of course, you punish them straight away, removing it. And then with double threat and many other threats to coming, including the back ranks. So just wanted to touch base and see if you can recall, but probably you definitely do recall this key moment of the game. Continued with rook c6, rooks being attacked, bishops being attacked. And after this move, queen captures, rook takes, they had resigned. So congrats on this one. I guess you felt pretty good to beating Veselin Topalov, right?
Well, it felt fantastic.
Yeah.
I really could hold my tears actually out after the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very graceful, and we exchanged a few words. Well, perhaps in this game he somehow bluffed me and sacrificed a bit too much material, thinking that I maybe would be afraid to and would believe like in his calculation. But this is what I was proud of myself there, that I believed in my calculation and I went for what I thought to be right.
Beautiful and sharp Italian game with Gioco Piano. Excellent stuff. Was this a blitz format or what is it? Rapid or classical? Apologies for the question if I.
It was actually the Scotch game, and this
Scotch
was
game,
a
yeah.
rapid event.
Rapid event. That's great. Wow. Beating Veselin Topalov in rapid. I think that's quite a performance. Now, which one is your favorite arena? Is it the blitz, the rapid, or the bullet? Which one you having most fun playing it?
I'm not a fan of Bullet, to be
Uh-huh.
honest.
So
And
I'm the only one that plays bullet at 1 a.m. and I shouldn't do that. I apologize. I don't recommend our kids. Don't play bullet, guys. Okay. Over to you.
yeah, there is Blitz, but Blitz probably I like. Well, I actually love it, but um, the most I think where I could show my skills and understanding is rapid and classical. So I like them both. But sometimes maybe I slightly prefer the rapid because it involves less preparation for the games and it is not as tiring as a classical game.
Excellent stuff. And what do you think about the Fisher Random or 960 or freestyle chess?
I actually played a few events, freestyle chess. The last one was the European Individual Championship in
Yep.
Macedonia last year, and I would say that it probably gives uh, again the advantage to the better player because without theory, then it's just a matter of strength and understanding. So I would say that I like it, yeah, and I see the point of strong players preferring this new format to the old one.
Yeah, I find it fascinating because actually being no theory in the opening, you are actually forced from the very first move to being creative and show your strength. It's pure tacticality, right? From the beginning to the end, I'd say.
Yeah, I believe there are already quite some strategies there because after that event I mentioned that I participated in, I thought, okay, I draw some conclusions, like for example that it's important to open up diagonals for bishops.
Yeah.
Probably the players who who played it more often know even more about it. So there are basically already some guidelines for you to choose the first moves.
Okay, cool stuff. And now I think we might be concluding with one last very friendly question now. If you were to play a match, a game of chess against a historical character, whether chess player or not, who would that be and why? Or let's just choose a historical character. They might be dead or alive, it don't matter.
I think I would have loved to play a game against Mikhail Tal. Uh,
Oh, wow. Yes. Please
he
do
would
continue. Apologies.
probably
Yeah.
he would probably crush me in his signature attacking style, but it would still be a very nice experience. And I know from the stories that he was also a very interesting person to speak to. So I think it would be a really cool experience.
Absolutely. You know something? I also had a couple of videos dedicated to the great magician from Riga, Mikhail Tal, and that's just great. And actually, I'll tell you something. I'd actually play him too, of course. And I would try to film it if that were possible, maybe with the help of the AI. So, Irina, I very much thank you for your presence. I congratulate you again on your great performance at the European Women's Chess Championship. And I'd like you next year when you're going to come first to give me another interview. That okay?
That's a promise. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thanks very much, Irina. Thank you very much, my dear chess friends, and we'll see you next time.